Have you ever imagined that one fine day, you go to the train station, ticket in hand, luggage ready, eager for a long trip? But you are stopped not because of a technical error, nor because of a security issue, but because yesterday you accidentally commented something sensitive on social media. Or because last week you walked the dog without wearing a muzzle. It sounds like a joke, but that's exactly what's happening in China. Not because you broke the law, but because you got a bad score on the social credit system, SCS. A system where every little thing in life is monitored and scored using AI cameras and big data. This system has indeed helped the Beijing government a lot in building a normative society where people consciously censor their every action. From there, it creates a neat and orderly surface like a model. But gradually, people began to live under suffocating secret surveillance. Is China's citizen score a technological advancement or a stealth control tool? Today's video is going to be a long one. Welcome to Kaihuin Insights, a society living in a scorecard. Starting in the 1980s, China embarked on a historic economic reform. They shifted from a centrally planned economy to a socialist-oriented market economy. In just a few decades, the country transformed from a poor agricultural nation into the world's factory, producing everything from clothes and children's toys to electronic components and even high-speed trains. Prosperity came like a whirlwind. GDP grew by double digits for years, and millions were lifted out of poverty. But with that unbridled growth came a creeping darkness, as morality was left behind and social trust began to crumble. Corruption was rampant, fraud became a means of survival, and counterfeit goods proliferated like weeds. In the eyes of the world at that time, Chinese goods were always associated with phrases such as cheap, poor quality, even dangerous. No one forgot the melamine-tainted milk scandal in 2008 that made more than 300,000 children sick. Dozens died and shocked the world. Or the collapsed bridges, cracked apartment buildings, newly inaugurated highways that turned into death traps because of the materials being gutted, standards being disregarded, and responsibilities being passed back and forth. Not only is trust in products broken, but trust between people, and between people and between people and the government is also gradually disappearing. According to a survey by Tsinghua University in 2012, more than 70% of people do not trust strangers, and nearly 60% admit that only fools live honestly in this society. And in the context of social trust gradually breaking down, instead of choosing traditional paths such as reforming the education system, improving civic morality, or reforming the judiciary to restore social norms, the Chinese government has chosen a bolder and more radical direction. It is using technology to control individual behavior. No longer relying on self-awareness, the state decided to create a system that could monitor, record, and evaluate every single action of its citizens, and then reward or punish them based on the score that the system assigned them. And that is when the social advancement system was officially born. When the policy was introduced, the Chinese government promoted it as a breakthrough in social governance, encouraging citizens to live civilized, honest, and law-abiding lives, while also preventing spontaneous acts that disrupt order or threaten national security. In Beijing's view, those who live well will be rewarded, and those who do wrong will pay a heavy price. It is the way to build a more just and stable society. However, Chinese observers and human rights organizations do not see things in such a positive light. They have criticized the system as a serious invasion of privacy, a tool for creating a surveillance state where individuals are tracked, classified, and controlled without the need for courts or legal procedures. Punishment no longer comes from transparent laws, but from opaque algorithms, where you do not know why you are losing points or how to be clear. Despite the controversy, the social credit system is still being implemented strongly in major cities such as Beijing, Shanghai, Hangzhou, Zhengzhou, and Jinan. The scoring system is based on a reward and punishment system, meaning that good deeds such as volunteering, donating blood, donating organs, or working exemplary will be rewarded. On the contrary, the system will deduct points if a person is unable to repay debts, late in paying utility bills, violates traffic laws, or is convicted. The system will publish scores every month and rank citizens into 8 levels of conduct, from AAA for typical citizens to D for unreliable citizens. Large corporations such as Alibaba or Tencent have cooperated with the government to collect data and operate this social credit system. From shopping history on Taobao, credit records via Alipay, to the content of every conversation, friend, and interaction on WeChat, every digital trace can become the raw material to create a citizen ranking. Each citizen can check their own score by entering their national ID number into Tencent's WeChat application. The product of this tech giant and checking the score has become so simple that it is like checking a bank account. But the scary thing is that it is not money, but human value from the perspective of the system. Each person's score is also graphically represented on a two-color horizontal bar. One end is green and the other is red. If your score is between 600 and 950, you will be green and become an elite citizen. At that point, all doors will open easily. You can redeem rewards like up to $12 off public transportation, no deposit on car rentals, skip the line library books, get a discount on airline tickets, and even get a job because businesses will mark you as an ideal candidate with a clean record and trustworthy behavior. On the other hand, if your score falls into the red zone, you will be locked out of the most basic amenities in society. Just as a 2014 government document stated that the goal of the system is to make it difficult for untrustworthy people to take even a single step. They may have to rent a house under someone else's name or be beaten up by relatives and distant business partners. In some places, telecommunications companies have even installed a special ringtone for people with low credit scores as a kind of warning to those around them. People with low scores will have more difficulty buying plane and train tickets, will be denied access to some banking services, and even their children will have extreme difficulty enrolling in quality schools. David Hung, one of 13 million Chinese citizens listed as having low credit scores because he failed to pay his debts, wanted to travel by plane to Chongqing for work, but was not allowed to use quality services such as flights. So he was forced to take the 12-hour high-speed train. One of Hung's hardest struggles came when a business partner discovered his poor conduct, not by looking up data, but simply by seeing him step off a hard-seat train. In China, choosing a train is often a tacit sign that you are poor or have limited civil rights. And in the business world, a person labeled untrustworthy by the government is a high-risk investment. Hung knows that, and he is trying to start over. He saves every penny, living in a small apartment on the outskirts of Beijing on $74 a month. But the hardest part is not hunger or deprivation, but the feeling of being locked out of a society where all opportunities for life are slammed shut because of a few points. The magic eye filters out weak citizens. To collect the huge amount of data to score citizens, China has deployed a huge surveillance network based on magic eye cameras. According to a 2022 report by Comparitech, China is now the country with the largest density of surveillance cameras in the world, with more than 600 million nationwide. That equates to at least one camera for every 2 people. Chongqing is the most obvious example. The city has installed more than 2.5 million cameras, meaning each person is recorded an average of 300 times a day. Other major cities such as Beijing, Shenzhen, Shanghai are also among the places with the most stringent surveillance systems on the planet. However, what makes the whole world shudder is that it is not the quantity, but the artificial intelligence behind the lens. Cameras in China are integrated with facial recognition technology, analyzing movements, voices, gait, and even reading emotions. In just a few seconds, the system can determine who you are, where you've been, and whether you're likely to cause trouble, just based on your eyes, expressions, or even an unconscious frown. Hangzhou No. 11 Middle School once installed a facial recognition system in the classroom. Scan every 30 seconds to analyze expressions, eyes, postures, behaviors, such as falling asleep or not paying attention. Each state is scored. Level of concentration. Just a yawn, look out the window, or frown, the system will deduct points immediately and send a warning directly to teachers and parents. And the center that controls all these eyes is the Skynet system, like a sky network covering the entire city, from the countryside, from public spaces to cameras at people's doors. Skynet does not operate in isolation. It connects cameras with banking data, GPS, hospital records, academic records, consumption habits, and social media interactions, creating a comprehensive digital portrait of every citizen. In such a society, no behavior is hidden from view, and no individual is anonymous. China continues to expand its surveillance system down to every neighborhood with the Sharp Eyes project, where people themselves are encouraged to install cameras at home, scan alleys, check sewers, and share signals directly with security agencies. Not only that, the human chain model is also strongly deployed. Neighbors are encouraged to monitor and report each other from who hangs strange banners, who receives guests of unknown identity, etc. Classes that teach high individual scores are popping up like mushrooms. Absolutely compliant, speaking in a standard manner, behaving without even a half beat out of sync. That is the state that more and more Chinese citizens are having to get used to and maintain every minute and every hour, not just to get high scores, get a Class A citizen certificate, but just to live like a normal person. Under the pressure that the scoring system brings, many people fall into a feeling of suffocation more than being a daughter-in-law in a feudal society. A place where every word must be in accordance with the husband's family's wishes. The only difference is that now, the husband's family is an invisible, silent system that never reminds you, but is ready to deduct points if you deviate even a little bit. Therefore, a strange social phenomenon has quietly blossomed, which is the citizen point farming movement. From fear of losing points to the desire to live a normal life, Chinese people have begun to search for tips on how to increase their points on forums, private groups, and anonymous blogs. Articles such as 5 ways to quickly increase credit points in a week, a list of behaviors that will earn points in 2024, or how to go from B to AA in just 30 days have appeared more and more. Discussions that were once only seen in the school environment have now become a matter of survival in real life. The point-raising craze has become so widespread that many people have started selling secret points-raising tips for 200 to 300 yuan. The content of these tips is very diverse, from instructions on how to donate blood at the right time, how to donate to the right recognized organization, to how to edit social media behavior, delete old posts, change profile pictures, or even hire others to give good reviews on the credit system. Along with that, a class of underground point-raising teachers has emerged. They are not education experts, nor are they government officials. They are people who have lived in the system and know how to please the algorithms. They open online courses, organize secret groups, and pass around standard living curriculums. This society is not for real people, but for individuals who have been trained to behave like machines. Even the rich, who thought they were immune to the system, are not left out of the game. Many of them have spent money to buy points, to hire people to beautify their credit records, or have had to pay for underground services to help them. In a society where scores determine fate, having money is not enough. You need to have points. The social credit system is introduced as a smart management tool, a civilized step forward for society. But from the inside, it is quietly plunging heavily into a generation of citizens trained like robots, saying the right thing, living the right life, thinking the right thing, not because you believe it is right, but because you dare not do otherwise. Freedom in that society is not forbidden by hard work, but limited by the invisible fear of losing points. Chinese people now do not live by conscience, do not live by thinking, but live by formulas to avoid losing points. However, in the very cycle of running for scores, what the Chinese government praises as civilizing citizen behavior is turning millions of people into individuals living in an invisible prison, where the walls are not built of cement, but of cameras, data, and the fear of having their scores deducted. Every morning when waking up, instead of asking what to eat or what to do today, people begin to worry about another question, quieter but haunting. Will I also accidentally do something today that will cause my score to be deducted? From that suffocating feeling, a series of doubts begin to arise in the public's mind. Is there a secret handshake between the government and technology corporations like Alibaba and Tencent, which control all of people's digital behavior? In principle, no government sells its citizens' personal information. That would violate governance ethics and could cause serious social unrest. However, the problem does not lie with the government, but with each level of the apparatus and the interest groups colluding with businesses. Many personal data leaks have been exposed, showing that citizens' information, ID numbers, bank accounts, and travel histories can be leaked from within government agencies or large technology partners such as Alibaba or Tencent. Soft handshakes between the government and businesses will create a spiral of benefits where personal data is both an easily controlled resource and a commodity to be traded. It is even more frightening when that data falls into the hands of criminals and turns people into prey for sophisticated scams, with the real culprits hiding behind the cover of smart management. And it is from here that a generation of young, silent resistance begins to form. Although it is weak and often stifled in the country, it still exists. It smolders like a fire under the cover of silence due to being forced. There are people who have had to leave domestic social networks, or even choose an anonymous life outside just to keep the last bit of privacy in a country where data has become an invisible fence surrounding each citizen.